Hello, everyone. We're here to answer some of the questions that you've been asking us about how to use the YourCAM portal. Um, Lots of topics have been coming up quite frequently, and how to change your password and your memorable data has been one that I know has been particularly troublesome for people. We thought it would be great to show you live on screen how you can change that data and what you need to do. So I'm going to hand over to our YourCAM guru, Ben, who will show us both what we're up to.
Thanks, Tracy. So there's a number of ways of going about resetting your password and memorable word data. So if we start with how you would reset that password should you be unable to log in. So as you can see here on the initial login page, we do have a problems logging in button. Once that's clicked, it will give you the options between your username and your password. Now, 99% of the time, your username will be your email. So if we go to password and click here to reset, it will ask for your username there.
So
So
that would
if
just be my full email address, Ben. So
exactly that
tracy.coghill@cityasset. Okay. So
e-
not just my name, the full address.
full address. So if I use my demo account username just as an idea, I'd have to type in that full
Mm.
thing and then click reset your password. That will then send an email to my account. Now, it depends on your email provider. I've done a few tests with different emails. So for Outlook, they normally end up in the junk folder, but for Gmail, which I've used for this account here, it's ended up in my inbox. This can depend on security settings, on it's something as little as even the server itself and how it feels about the email. So it is important to check both your junk and your normal inbox. The password reset emails normally come around quite quickly, but I would give it on average around 5 to 10 minutes at
Right.
most, and then it should be in that inbox for you.
Right. So it's now asked you if you want to change your password to give your memorable word. We'll come on to how you can change your memorable word too, won't we? But at the
Yes.
moment, you're just going to input the letters it's asked for, and here you are.
Yeah, so I've just inputted the memorable words for the this training account itself. So if I show you where you can change all of that data, so there is a point on the website when you initially log in, all of these will be filled with actual data.
Mm.
This is just a blank account. So if I click on this icon here, this will either be this person icon, or if you've changed this to have a photo on the account, it will reflect there. You want to click on this one here, My Account. Now, what this will do is it will load up every detail that you'll be able to change in terms of your logging in. As you can see here, it's got the username. If I wanted to change the password, say I've struggled to log in, I've just remembered my password, or I've had it noted down somewhere and I want to change it, you'll need to input what your current password is, then your new password, type it in again so we can just make sure it matches. And then when you click Save Changes, it will give you a indication that your new password has been saved down. So the next time that you log
Right.
in, your new password will take precedence.
And Ben, I just want to pick up on something that we're reminded of there on the screen, but it's important, isn't it, that we have complex passwords, that it's not the name of your eldest grandchild and and the day that she was born. I note it's giving us a prompt about uppercase, lowercase, and everything else. But that's something which I think is we're experiencing a lot of issues with at the moment, aren't we? People's emails accounts being hacked because passwords aren't secure enough.
Absolutely, that I'd agree. It's a case that some passwords are a lot easier to guess. It may be a case that they've not been a good while, which is why the platform itself has not only a two-factor authentication with a memorable word, but also such details as to what sort of password you can use, just so you can be as secure as possible. And as well as that, obviously, it has to be a minimum of 8 characters long. This is just so that the password is complex enough that has enough variation that it should keep you as secure as possible, combined with the other security settings on the platform.
Fantastic. So you can change your password there. What about the other settings? Changing, for example, the security question for that authentication you talked about?
Yep. So if it was at any case that you wish to reset your security questions, you have the option to do it here. So if it is a case that for one of your questions you feel that you may have inputted the wrong information, say it was the make of your first car and you feel like you've got that wrong, you wish to change it, you're able to do that in this point here. So both of these drop-down menus will contain a variety of security questions. They should be different ones. So for the security question one, you can see it will give you this list of information here. So name of your oldest nephew, maid of honor at your wedding, maternal grandfather's first name, and so on. So at least one of these questions should reflect something that you feel would be suitable for yourself or that you know the answer
Mm,
for. And then if I just click on security question two, as you can see that it has a variety of different questions such as paternal grandmother's first name, name of your first boss, was born in. So it gives you a wide variety of questions that should at least
mhm.
give you one in each of those drop down menus that you feel best suited for, and that will then in turn enable you to set that up. You'll need to input your current password. So just as a personal point for me, I would normally look to, if I was resetting all of these at once, I'd normally look to reset the password last just in case. For whatever reason, once you input a new password, sometimes, and I've done this myself, where I've hit the wrong button when I'm resetting
Mm.
my password. So the password, I've spelt it wrong, it comes up with an issue. Once here, you would just input your current password, save those changes, and then you can go back to resetting the password to get that more secure password for future logins afterwards.
That makes sense, Ben. And on all of this, for example, you could have made a typo, like maybe added an extra letter or something, couldn't you, in your security question? So it might not be the case that you're aware of the fact that your answer's not right, but it doesn't match just because of that typo.
Exactly that. Unfortunately, there are keyboards that are more sensitive than others. So it may be a case that even if you've had your hand on a button for a split second longer than you would on somewhere else, it may have inputted the key twice. It's unfortunately a manufacturer thing, so it is important just to double check when you type in these boxes just to make sure that that answer is spelled and you can see that it is correct for you. As you can see, when you type in the answers there, it's not a case of like when you type a password in, it comes out with just
Mm,
dots. You can see the answers there. So it's best to just reflect on those before hitting save changes.
fantastic. That all seems very straightforward, Ben. So we're just in the settings, a settings aspect of the portal. Is there anything else that we should be aware of here?
Yeah, there would be one more thing for me, which would be your multi-factor authentication,
Right.
which is locked me out of there for a second because I was typing in security questions. There we are.
Mm,
So as you saw when I logged in initially, it asked me for 3 digits of the memorable word I've set up alongside this account. For any reason at any point in time you have forgotten your memorable word, we can reset it on our end to a temporary memorable word which will convey to you. Next time you log in, you'll be asked to pick a more personal one. But let's say you've logged in, the memorable word you feel there is something better suited, more memorable, you are able to change it here. As you can see, it must be at least 5 characters long.
mhm,
With these, I normally myself personally avoid using numbers in the memorable word. It's
mhm,
a weird, odd phenomenon sometimes when you use a number and that's one of the 3 digits that is required when you log in. Sometimes it just doesn't pick up when you type a number and you click save, it will say that it's incorrect. It may work for you, but sometimes I found it creates a little bit of an issue. So I would recommend with the memorable word, making sure it's something
mm.
that's not easily guessable, but maybe avoid using numbers and symbols because it does throw the system off.
Ben, I've been told that you should sort of look around you and identify an object, perhaps. So I've got on my desk here like coffee cup. I know that's like probably a really obvious, easy one, but I could put white coffee cup as my memorable word, for example.
Yeah, it certainly is. The thing with the memorable word is as long as it's something that you know you will remember,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
always important. It may be a case that obviously it may be easier to refrain from something that is too personal and easily guessable. So say for example we had on the security questions what was the name of your eldest niece. If that's your memorable word, someone may discover that easier than if you put something even as generic as coffee cup. It may be something that people may not guess, but it's always important just to sort of have a sort of what if scenario in mind when you click these memorable words, just to make sure it's not as easily guessable from someone that may look to log in and impersonate you to get that data. If that was an issue with memorable words, you do have an option to change your two-factor or multi-factor authentication, and that is to use an authenticator app. These are not set up by ourselves, they are third party. The main ones you'll find on any app store if you search authenticator app would be Google, Microsoft. So if I clicked generate new code, when I'm in the authenticator app, I would need to scan this QR code here. And that would, when I log in next, would ask me to type in the 6-digit code that is found on my phone. We can't guarantee that they'll work all the time, the authenticator apps, if you do use them personally. Since the setup of YourCAM itself, I haven't encountered any issues with either Google or Microsoft as a two-factor authentication app when it should be working. But if for whatever reason at some point Microsoft may do an update or Google may do an update overnight and it may cause issues with the two-factor authentication apps, that's something that is beyond our control, unfortunately. So if those went down at any point in time, we may encounter issues with people logging in. But if that is the case, we will look to inform people once we are aware, and if we know if there's going to be some sort of immediate fix, we would keep people in the loop.
And of course, the advantage there, Ben, is that what we've said there about trying to come up with words that aren't the name of your niece or things, it just doesn't apply, does it? Because this is using a piece of tech that gets rid of all of the need for passwords and makes the fact that you're present with the phone that you're going to provide the identification to log in absolutely the most important part. The rest of it kind of falls away.
Absolutely that, yeah. It's always, when it comes to multi-factor authentication, it is a relatively new process, and I know that there's a lot of resistance with it, and I would include myself into that. I'm sure that there are many people that would be listening to this and hearing about multi-factor authentication when they've logged into somewhere to think it's just another step, it's just another
It's more difficult, isn't it?
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I know that when you log in, you want to immediately get to your data, but this is an important step, be it either of these two ways in securing your data and making sure that we have, as ourselves and Money Info as the providers of the platform, have the processes and tools in place to make sure your data is as secure as possible.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, look, I think that seems to me like we've addressed a lot of the topics that I've personally received questions about. We are going to do more videos. We welcome your input on the questions that you'd like to see answered. But Ben, thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
No worries, thank you.